Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kansas City Royals franchise here in MLB The Show 23. I'm DFG. And after a bit of a hiatus over the Christmas period, I'm back here once again as we continue the franchise here with the Royals. Hope you guys had a good Christmas and New Year's. We're back here on the grind, starting with this episode here today. We've got some players performing well here at the start of the season. We've also got players massively underperforming, such as Vinny Pasquantino only having 164 average to begin this year. And we've also got some pitchers who haven't been fantastic. However, James Caprillion, one of our new signings, has done very well in his first 3 games. We did get the win here against Boston, getting 8 runs against the Red Sox as Bobby Witt Jr. continues his great start of the season, and Noah Syndergaard, who's had a very rough beginning to the season, got 7 innings and 1 out to get a very good outing for him there. As we now go into Chris Bubic, possibly getting a complete game shutout here. Getting up against Anthony Santander to begin with. Chris Bubic is one of our lower guys in the rotation, though I think he did have a complete game shutout last year as well. Santander is able to hold back on that one. See if we can get a complete game here with Chris Bubic. So I hope you guys had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. It's just busy for me and wasn't really able to get a chance to record or really edit anything. So once again, after a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a hiatus, which I think everyone deserves and needs over that time of the year, I'm back here once again, and Chris Bubic will not go a complete game shutout as Santander slams one over the fence. Home run, his first one of the season. And Chris Bubic will more than likely be taken out of the game now as we try to get the save here against the Orioles. Yeah, we're bringing in Scott Barlow, who's not had the best start of the season. Left-handed batters are destroying him to begin the year. But he has every save he's had to do this year, he's been able to complete. So we bring him in here to begin his day against Austin Hayes as he starts 1-0. This was been playing a lot of MLB The Show lately. Just really enjoying it. Got some guys that I like to watch as well. Mr. Hurricane as well, who's kind of kept me up in trying to play MLB The Show more. As Scott Barlow gets a nice strikeout of Austin Hayes there on the slider away. Maybe it was a slurve. And we start off against Shoop with a strike right down the middle. Barlow had a good season last year, though he's not done fantastically this year. I think he's had a few issues as Shoop gets one that past the second baseman and gets on base for a single. Yeah, Barlow actually he's struggled a little bit. He came in our first game against the Tigers. I think we saw him and he left up a few. I think it was a home run, a few hits as well. So he's not been as perfect as he was. Not perfect. He wasn't perfect last year, but he was definitely very good last year as he goes 2-2 against James McCann. So he's not got off to the start that we would have liked him to this season, but he is still 4.4 and his ERA is below 4, so he's not doing terribly as the count goes full. If you can get James McCann out here, and he's going to get him to pop out to third base here. Nicky Lopez should be able to take care of that, and he does. They're going to bring in Adley Rutschman here to try and get a hit here, and he is the tying run. So 2 down, And he's 0-1 here for Rutschman, but that slurve is outside. And now Barlow's gonna go, and he's going to put down the middle, but he's gonna get away with it, and Pollock's gonna take care of it, and the Royals will win. And that'll be 5 for 5 for Scott Barlow as he saves the game here. Bubic had a good day, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. And now we have another shutout possibly happening, as it was Noah Syndergaard after, as I said, a really poor start to the season. He seems to have gotten a little bit hot here. He did have a complete game shutout, completely. Only 4 hits let up, 4 strikeouts. Not really a strikeout guy, but he's completely changed his season in only 2 games. Here is a team I want to face in our feature-length game here today, the Colorado Rockies. So we'll do that later in the video as we do some more simulating here as Schreiber tries to close us out, and it looks like he did indeed as we lose that game. And now Scott Barlow is trying to protect our lead, and he will also do it. So 2 saves there, 1 in our favor, 1 against, and we defeat the Tigers there in extra innings. We now go to our scouting. Salvador Perez gets hurt there, but he's only out for a few days, and he'll be back soon. I'm sure he'll be back and healthy again before we face in our feature-length game against the Rockies. And we were able to beat the Cardinals in that game as well. So, getting some results in the critical situations, even though I'm simming them. One player I did want to look at here today was James Caprillion. He got off to a red-hot start, though he's significantly cooled down now. He had an ERA of like 1.8 at the start of this video, and things have gotten worse ever since for him. The rest of our starting pitching, not really that great, and our long relief pitchers are also not doing great, so we'll have to see if we want to make some moves. But we do have some pitchers performing. Ryan Yarbrough's doing well. Aroldis Chapman is a guy I would be willing to trade, but he's not having the greatest of seasons. And Scott Barlow, as we were talking about earlier, he might also be a trade candidate, but not with that ERA. That being said, he has got 11 saves, but he's blown 2 now. So we will play against the Colorado Rockies. We can either play with Singer, Caprillion, or Bubic. We already had some time with Bubic today, so I more than likely won't be playing with him. I think we'll play with Brady Singer. He's actually had a reasonably good start to the season, a 3.18 ERA, I believe that says. And but he has lost all of his games he's played in. So let's see what we can do against the Colorado Rockies in this game here, and it will be our feature-length game here today. This will also be post-commentated here. It's just easier for me to concentrate. So this is going to be post-commentated, so I'll switch over to that now. And to start today, it's Randall Grichuk, who doesn't lead off against lefties, but he is our number 2 in the lineup. And he gets into a 2-2 count before then. And then gets a full count. And that is when Grichuk is able, who's actually got off to a pretty okay start to the season, smashes one into left field. I've actually had some really good at-bats with Grichuk, and he's able to stretch this into a double. And might be able to get a 1-out rally here. AJ Pollock was next, and he's not really got off to the start that I would like. 208 average. It's the same with Grichuk, even though I think Grichuk has done better when I've used him. So I'm a little bit happier with how he's played and how Pollock's played, because I've actually struggled with Pollock this year. So we'll have to wait and see how both these free agent pickups go, but Pollock gets a walk then as the ball hits him. And a full count for Perez. He's able to get the walk And in the first inning, we were able to load the bases here against John Dox Akes. After another out, it's Drew Waters who's up. And unfortunately, we keep them loaded. And keep 3 men stranded as we now go to the bottom of the first. Singer left up a hit to Brendan Rodgers and a 2-1 count after getting the first two batters out. And Colorado were able to get a double out of Brendan Rodgers. However, it didn't get any easier, although he was able to get Bryant to foul that one off. Bryant would then take him yard. And Brady Singer would not get off to a great start here against the Colorado Rockies, as he would leave up 2 in the first frame. Chris Bryant getting his 7th home run of the season to give the Colorado Rockies a 2-zip lead. Not the start I wanted to see from Brady Singer. And honestly, it didn't get any better. Zach Veen continued to the run here on a 2-out rally as he was able to sneak that one past the shortstop. And then Michael Toglia also was able to get one past the shortstop as Singer left up 4 hits in the first inning. However, he was able to come back and strike out Benny Montgomery. In the second, Nicky Lopez came in as the 9th hitter and was able to drop in a blooper over third base and get on first base after he got 2 out. However, he tried to stretch it into a double, ill-advised, and that would make him out at second. Back to Singer pitching at the bottom of the second, and after getting the first out, he would walk Ezekiel Tovar. However, he would then strike out Jurickson Profar a few batters later to end the inning. Now on the third, up once again with Brendan Rodgers and a full count here. Rodgers had doubled earlier, and then he would get a walk here in the third. And then the Bryant-Rodgers duo will continue as Bryant was able to get a single up the middle. Then Michael Toglia was able to get one through, and Grichuk's defense was able to hold Brendan Rodgers at third, and the bases were loaded at the bottom of the third. Benny Montgomery was the man up, and he would be walked, and that would walk in a run for Colorado. Until finally they got a double play. That would get him out of the third. 3 runs let in 3 innings. Jason Vosler with a walk here in the fourth after getting 1 man out. Then a second man would get out before Michael Massey would come up. And he would hit one hard to the right center field gap. And that one would go over the fence, and we would get back in this game on his first home run of the season. Vosler got on by a walk. Michael Massey shows a little bit of power to get us 2 runs on the board. And we get right back in the game here in the fourth. And then in the fifth, Vinny Pasquantino, who's got off to a rough start this year, was able to single up the middle and get on the board for his first hit of the day. And then A.J. Pollock with 2 down. Pasquantino still on first. Was able to get an infield hit as he's able to beat out the throw. And now we had 2 on, 2 down at the top of the fifth. And Salvador Perez, the man who you would want to be up in this situation. But only pops it out. And second baseman takes care of it to leave 2 men stranded. Since earlier in the game, Singer had calmed down significantly, but he was in a bit of trouble here once again in the fifth. He got through the fourth fairly simply, but now he was in trouble once again. But then got that double play ball. 6-4-3. And then Singer came back in the sixth and gave up more hits as Benny Montgomery took him the other way for a hit over first base, but was able to stop. And that's when Ryan Yarbrough came in. He had a very, very good start to the season. Singer, not really, didn't do what you want him to do, and Yarbrough came in to clean up the 6th inning. But he would walk Brian Serven, and then Ezekiel Tovar was up. Man, he would get a hit. Grichuk would cut it off, but not before they got another run in. And Yarbrough would give up a run in the bottom of the 6th. But then was able to get Solano to fly out to center, and they wouldn't test Waters' arm. And then Jurickson Profar came up. And although he did get what he wanted in a ground ball, it was to a point where they weren't going to get a double play. And Ronald Odor was only able to get the man out of first with getting another run. All the way back to Rogers here once again, and he would drive in another run. As things hadn't gone well for us here at the bottom of the 6th. Until finally, Yarbrough was able to get Bryant out, and the terrible 6th inning ended. Jordan Hicks then came in after Yarbrough's absolutely terrible 6th inning, as two of our pitchers struggled. But the hits would not stop there, as Zach Veen would get one into center field. And that would be a single. From Michael Tolia came up, who had a very good day to this point, and it will continue as he would get his 3rd hit of the day. Another single, this time to left field. We did not have a good day pitching here today, as many of our pitchers struggled, but Jordan Hicks was able to get out of the 7th without adding any more damage with a double play after leaving those 2 base runners on. At the top of the 9th, we needed 4 runs, and Jason Vosler was able to get us started with a nice smashed ball into the left center field gap. And he was able to stretch that into a double. Vosler's got off to a red-hot start this year, and although he has cooled down a little bit, that was a good hit into left center field to get a double. Next up was Drew Waters, and he would be a man who, despite having a pretty decent season last year, has struggled so far this year. And then he would come into this game, top of the 9th. Could he do anything with it? Yes. Unfortunately, no, he couldn't, as although he got a good hit, it would fly into left center field. Bobby Witt Jr. would then be brought off the bench on his off day to see if he could do anything with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. And the top of the 9th. To see if we could extend this game. And he would wave at a curveball outside the zone. And although he had gotten off to an excellent start to this year, he would strike out another one of those curveballs. And Feltner would get 2 down here. We then needed to make a substitution, as Ronald Odor was the man at the plate. And we decided to bring in Joey Votto, who actually got off to a pretty decent start to the season as a guy who was coming off the bench to hit .273 average. Not bad whatsoever. Not someone who's going to play every day or even get much game time at all, but he was able to get up to a pretty decent start to this year given his limited playing time. 273 is by no means bad, and he would be the man to see if we could get anything out of this 9th inning to see if we could get back in this game. After a few foul balls, he would then take a sinker outside as he continued to work the count, but then got a changeup over the middle, and he would drive in a run with a single back up the middle. He may not be the Joey Votto of old, but he was certainly able. But he was able to get us an RBI there. This would force Colorado to bring in their closer in Pierce Johnson. He's got 8 of 9 saves this year, and he will go up against Nicky Lopez. I see it. Already got a hit here today. Let's see what Nicky Lopez could do, and if he could get anything else here for this Kansas City Royals side. He's been not great so far this season. Nicky Lopez struggled mightily for pretty much the entire start of this year, as he went 1-2, and we then would ground out back to the pitcher, and that would be it. The Rockies would get the 6-3 win and take it up here. Not really a good game for us. Brady Singer left up 8 hits and 4 runs in his few innings. But we will continue to simulate here as we want to get more done here. As 2 home runs for Salvador Perez, but we did end up losing to the Astros before then going back to scouting. Simulate here, and went on a pretty decent run here at the end of July, as we got some wins to come back towards 500. That being said, I do believe that we are pretty much out of the playoff running, and now it's time for us to look at potential guys to trade. I'm not really interested in trading a lot of our players. Guys like Salvador Perez, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino are guys who I see to be around for a lot longer. Even Brady Singer, who's gotten cold, I still think that he's a guy that we can use. However, there are some players that I would look at getting rid of. Scott Barlow right now is on the top of my list. I think right now, even though he's got 14 saves and only 2 blown ones, he's not been the guy that we had last year. Like, even just looking at these numbers, 2.42 to 4.29, he's had 8 walks, 3 home runs allowed. This isn't the same guy that we had last year, and I would be interested in trading him if a team was looking for him. Now, I don't know what you'd get for Scott Barlow. Like, he's a 31-year-old, 79 overall, and we've got him signed for the next 2 years. I signed him up for about a $21 million deal last year after he did so well, and it's kind of blown back in my face this year. One of our free agent acquisitions, Jordan Hicks, is a guy that I could see us trading, but it seems that he is a guy that, we just brought in. I would expect us to keep him around, though everything that he's been doing well in his previous seasons, like strikeouts and keeping the walks relatively low, he's struggled with us this year. Another signing of ours, Noah Syndergaard, has turned it around for us, and I wouldn't mind trading him, even though we're not getting the same play that he had for the Dodgers last year. He is a guy who has this year and next year on the contract, though, to be honest, of these 3 guys, I think Barlow will be the only one I would seriously consider putting on the trade block. I don't think we should be leaving up guys we just signed. Another guy that I actually think that we could get rid of is Jordan Lyles. He's been on the team the last year and this year, and he's not shown me that he can be a part of this rotation. His overall is going down. And I think a guy like this, who's not having a particularly good season, you could probably get someone to take him, because I feel like he's an arm who is experienced. We could also take a look at trading James Caprillion, though I don't really want to, even though his ERA has skyrocketed a bit. Another guy I would look at trading will be Nicky Lopez. I think that even though he's 29, he's got a B potential and 71 overall, we have a guy that can take over from Nicky Lopez, Caden Wallace, who, although is not doing great at AAA at the moment, he's the guy I want to be at third base in the future, and he's actually at a higher overall already than Nicky Lopez. And I just think that if we're going to make that move, you know, trading Nicky is probably the way to go. We also have Jason Vosler on the roster. However, I do think that Aroldis Chapman is probably one of the most tradable players we have. He is a little bit older, but he's a veteran arm who's playing well after a poor start to the season. All of those players could be up for trading in the next episode as we move closer to the trading deadline. Despite our pretty poor start to the season, we are actually only 4 games back from the wild card, so we're not completely out of this. So maybe we could make some moves to try and improve the team, though I don't think that that's really a viable option. Even though we're 26-32 and the run that we've been on has been pretty good, we're 7-3 in our last 10 games. I just don't believe that that's a run that we can go on. Like, we're not that far behind the Guardians or the teams in the wildcard position, but I just think that we're going to fall off, and I would be more of a seller than a buyer at the trade deadline. Anyway, that's all we had time for. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, really helps us out. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.